Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Welcome once again, folks. This is CatsPajamas and Orb here for the TL Open, and we are about to broadcast game number 3 down here at the 6 o'clock position. We have Evil Genius's EG.IdrA spawning as our green Zerg, already throwing out the shut up. desRow saying he should play Protoss the right way. desRow himself spawning as our orange Protoss over here at the 9 o'clock position on Shattered Temple, and I would expect quite a bit of not very good-natured BM back and forth.
Yeah, we got some EG.IdrA's BM getting thrown out here. Commit to an 8-gate, get scouted, expo, lose all probes and units, lose another Nexus, let me get up, 5-base attack move win. But you know what? For all of EG.IdrA's... Oh man. Fuck you. Oh man. For all of EG.IdrA's talk about desRow attack moving, you know what? He kind of did this. I mean, he didn't exactly attack move, but he kind of... That was the reason I feel he lost. His bad engagements, he just kind of attack moved his whole army in instead of really meticulously, taking account of where his units should be at the right time and having that kind of synergy between those Zerglings and Infestors. You pointed and clicked really well. Oh, man.
Thank you. I admire your larva inject. Oh, man. And the funny thing is that both these players are not people to not going to be intimidated. They're just going to keep going at it. So making units that do nothing doesn't help all that much. So, all right. I predict this is going to go on for a little while here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We are Shattered Temple. We are close positions by air. desRow can open up with Gateway first, so no sort of cheesy rush out of him quite yet. No cannon play or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm really curious to see if either of these players play on tilt, if desRow's got a lot of confidence behind him, if he decides to play another straight-up macro game. But in any case, this is going to be very, very entertaining.
Absolutely, that is for sure. On these spawns, though, I feel like unless we see some airplay from desRow, EG's EG.IdrA will have the advantage in terms of the way the bases are laid out. This third down here at the bottom right, after you take out those destructible rocks, nice pawn block, by the way, to interrupt myself there from desRow. But that third base, and of course the gold as well, are pretty easy to take from the Zerg in this position, and then you can just have a pretty long rush distance around to your opponent by ground that you can use to defend. Now, of course, the center Zalnaga Tower is going to be pretty important in this game, but EG.IdrA's also got to be really careful with his Overlord placement. A lot of players would like to put an Overlord, for example, in the that upper ground ledge to the southwest of the Zalnaga Tower, because you do have to watch for any units coming around and sneaking around the map towards your base. I'm really curious to see if desRow is going to go for any type of all-in here and play off of EG.IdrA perhaps being a little bit tilted right now, or if he is just going to go for a standard macro game.
And nice job once again, desRow throwing down multiple pylon blocks there, forcing a couple of drones off the line. EG.IdrA thought he had it cleared up for a little while, and then desRow throws down another pylon. So decent play out of him. The base is finally coming up now for EG.IdrA, though. He already is going to have his Queen and a few Zerglings in play. He'll send those out. But, all right, desRow throwing down his second gas, and the last time I said that things were looking clear for a pretty typical Sentry expand, desRow completely threw my expectations aside and went ahead and did a proxy Blinkstalker 4-gate. But with the Sentry coming out now, I think we are going to see a pretty typical expand build.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 3-gate expand, but you know what? A lot of players have actually been shying away from the 3-gate expand lately, especially in Asia. We've seen a lot of Korean players and Chinese players experiment with a 2-gate expand because, when you're mining off of 2 gas on one base, you can produce sentries constantly off of 2 gateways, but with 3 gateways, you can't be constantly producing them anyways, so you can kind of avoid that 3rd gateway, get the Nexus out a little bit earlier, but no, desRow is going to be going for the older style of getting that 3rd gateway out that will allow more units before he drops down that Nexus. And of course, will allow him to be a little bit more aggressive earlier on versus EG.IdrA, but if he is not aggressive, this could end up putting him behind. A lot of Zerg players, since 3-gate expand has been so popular for so long now, a lot of Zerg players, I feel, just kind of know how to counter it. They know how to deal with it by now.
Yeah, and I've talked to quite a few Zerg players who are just switching that up in favor of the 1-gate expand. They consider it almost as safe, and it lets them get out that early economy to deal with to deal out a little bit better push towards the mid-game. But desRow, he is saving up those minerals. Barry to drop down his next Nexus. EG.IdrA has finally restarted gas mining after a while, so he is throwing down that Roach Warren. And with the Evolution Chamber already in place, we may see a very, very strong Zergling Roach attack here in a little bit.
It looks like he's going to go for that Ling Roach Bust, as is very popular versus the 3-gate Sentry Expand. This can be one of the builds a lot of players do, but it is a little bit risky because if the Protoss player, if desRow sets up a very good Sim City and also sets up a couple cannons and has the right unit composition, you can defend it pretty easily, and then the Zerg player is going to be pretty far behind. That being said, EG.IdrA is not overly committing to this. It's not like a 26 drone Roach Sling all in or something like that. He is still continuing his drone production even now. Probably will try to set up his timing so it'll be attacking right around the time melee attacks level 1 finishes. But the Forge is already on the way. For desRow, he has a full wall off there leading to the main ramp. We'll have to see if EG.IdrA will actually be able to do anything with this. It's possible he's just getting that Roach Warren to be safe and play defensively because he's still, 5 more drones in production. It looks like maybe he was just getting that Roach Warren so that in case desRow came out with any aggression, he'd be able to defend. And is instead going to just go ahead and tech up to his lair.
Yeah, but I thought the same thing you did. I thought we were going to see a pretty strong push out of him, as it certainly can do quite a bit of damage, especially if you hit that 26 drone like you were talking about, Roachling all in, especially if he throws down any sort of a macro hatch or something like that, but not going to be the case. Well, actually, Diz putting down a macro hatch and clearing up the rocks over to his gold expansion now. So his economy is going to look quite good. His tech is going to be in place, and he's going to be able to convert over to Roach production in case desRow decides to threaten at all. But desRow playing pretty passively here. He's only thrown down 4 gates in total, has Hallucination coming up along with +1, so it'll be a little while before he's able to drop down a couple more gates and make a powerful timing attack.
Hallucination is going to be so useful for him right now. He does have a pretty large number of sentries right here, or actually just 6, not as many as I thought it might be, but we'll be able to hallucinate pretty repeatedly. And look at that, he's actually getting into the base right as the lair finishes for EG.IdrA. Couldn't be a more fortunate timing. He sees the Roach Warren as well, and he's going to see 3 gas, a lair, and a Roach Warren with a macro hatch on the way. There's almost nothing this could be besides Burrow Roach play off of 2 base, so he should be able to know that, and that's some great scouting information from desRow. He'll now be able to actually react accordingly. We probably will see a robotics facility get thrown down from him relatively soon, so he will be able to deal with that Burrow as well as maybe get some Immortals out. And there it is. There's a robotics facility on the way at the natural. desRow did warp in a couple Stalkers in here. He's going to continue hallucinating with that Phoenix, and it looked like maybe he was going to go shark moded up a little bit and pretend to be aggressive, but no, he's going to keep those units back at home and just play it safe for now.
Yep, but I like the response that we're seeing out of desRow here. He's playing everything as well as he should, and he should have the units in place to go ahead and deal with this, especially with the Observer to deal with that Burrow. But let's see here. EG.IdrA is actually putting down his gold expansion at the same time, so he's going to be on 3 base plus macro hatch, so we'll be able to make a very large attack here relatively soon. His production is going to be quite good. These hallucinated Phoenixes for desRow continuing to gather the information that is critical. And it looks like Zerglings working on the northern destructible rocks around desRow's third, desRow working on the southern rocks. Those 2 forces have the potential to meet here in a bit. I think desRow is certainly going to be a little bit surprised when he gets up there and sees a few Zerglings waiting for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to know that that backdoor entrance is already open, so when he does go take that third, he's going to have to wall that off with some pylons and gateways. EG.IdrA just fallen back for now. He's still been producing a ton of roaches, has +2 melee on the way, and he's starting to make some lings as well, so perhaps, I mean, even though his third's getting up, and I would have expected him making some drones right now to saturate that, it looks like he's making a ton of units and gearing up for some aggression here.
And EG.IdrA going to retreat back with his roaches. He does still have his Zerglings sitting over at the north, but they see a few units coming out, and those are going to be forced to retreat. So, taking stock of the situation, EG.IdrA has gone ahead and researched Nubitized Carapace, but no Ventral Sacks yet, so no drops incoming. He's positioning his roaches forward. I'm surprised he's getting them this far forward at this stage in the game. And he's just going to go ahead and outright attack with him as he's sending his Zerglings over to the north-hand side as well. desRow losing quite a few units there, and he is forced to pull back a little bit, but there, drops down a couple of force fields near the natural expansion. EG.IdrA going to, well, no, looks like he was going to stop, maybe recommit to the attack, but he is going to wait and just let his Zerglings go ahead and deny this expansion over at the 12 o'clock.
Yeah, desRow's got to be really careful right now. He did just get that third denied, and this is kind of the downside of going for that early hallucinate. If you don't get a lot of sentries, all of a sudden you don't have that much force field energy left over, because hallucinate costs 100 energy. So now desRow desperately behind on sentries and on energy right now, and EG.IdrA is gearing up to go for an attack right now, still sending those Zerglings up to that top base field, denied from ever being put down while leaving the roaches in the front. Meanwhile, he has gotten his third base at the goal pretty well saturated now, and he's going to start to tick up to infestors. So it looks like he's in pretty good control of this game with a nice little 15 or 13 drone advantage in the harvester count. desRow has started that immortal production, and he is keeping that going. He's getting blink on the way. But if those infestors come out in time, that blink will not be all that useful for him.
Right, and these little Ling run-bys that are coming at the top left-hand corner and denying bases are so smart out of EG.IdrA, and desRow can't defend against him. He can't pull all of his units out of position, otherwise he knows a bunch of roaches are going to show up at his front door and catch him out of position. So EG.IdrA playing very intelligently at the moment, like you said, in complete control of the game, has another base coming down over at the 3 o'clock position, and it is definitely on desRow to try and get something done.
Look at what he's doing. This is so strange. He's actually walling off the low ground up here of that expansion. Doesn't want to take any counterattacks there, but this is so strange. This is going to deny him from taking that third, so he's going to have to take the gold next, and it's going to be very late. As you said, EG.IdrA's fourth is already on the way, and it's going to be completing soon, so desRow is going to be way behind on the, expansion count.
Sure.
And having walled himself off like that, I feel like it might have been a bad idea. Probably should have just walled off the upper ground of the expansion to be able to actually go take that base. Now he's going to be way behind, and EG.IdrA is just getting further and further ahead on the food count, even making a ton of spines in the center of the map to deny any forward pressure from desRow. He's already at 170 food to 120, so with 9 infestors about to pop here with Neural Parasite on the way as well, it is looking really good for EG.IdrA thus far this game.
Yeah, certainly, and that Neural Parasite can prove to be oh so useful as it being able to, I remember I did something similar against MC back at MLG, I guess this would have been number 2, so Columbus, where he said on stage publicly in the first match that Immortal is a pretty good counter to Blink Stalker, so he's going to be able to get those Neural Parasites in play. That's going to be devastating for desRow. See how desRow reacts. He's going to be able to defend his gold expansion pretty well behind a decent amount of SimCity being played, and he's going to have some units there as well, but EG.IdrA playing so smart and continuing to get ahead, now maxed with the additional 36 Zerglings that are coming back, and desRow going to be forced to defend against this, and I don't know if he has what it takes.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is getting pretty scary. He does have a War Prism on the way. You know, funnily enough, I may have actually been the first person EG.IdrA did that against in a broadcast game. Back in the HDH, yeah, he Neural Parasited one of my Immortals and was killing off all of my Stalkers. But here comes EG.IdrA. Hold that thought. Coming in for an engagement right now. He's got a ton of Infestors right here. The Zerglings are trying to get the Surround. The Templar come in. Will they be able to get the Storms off? Really nice Storms and Force Fields going off. I don't know if it'll be enough, though. His entire army's getting fungled. It's all very stacked up right now. Both players taking a ton of damage from all this AoE. A lot of Infested Terrans going down as well. It looks like EG.IdrA has the upper hand in this engagement, but he did lose a lot of his army. They pretty much just traded right there. That being said, here come the reinforcements from EG.IdrA, and he will have the upper hand in this engagement. It looks like desRow just not able to rebuild his army quick enough.
Yeah, certainly. desRow's economy is just not to the place where he can reproduce off of all of his gateways right now, but EG.IdrA's economy is there. And desRow throws down the GG, leaves the game, and EG.IdrA has advanced to the finals.
Oh, man, that was so well played. Denying that third base at the top left while EG.IdrA took his own third, and then eventually, of course, his fourth as well. Just gave EG.IdrA such a huge macro lead in that game, and it compounded itself over and over as he kept denying expansions. Then, as desRow finally tried to take that third at the gold, EG.IdrA came in with that great timing right as that expansion was coming up, before desRow could actually get any benefit from it with that really nicely executed attack. So many Infestors in there, of course, those Infested Terrans and Fungals helping out quite a bit. Really,
yeah, and he was
well
causing
executed.
It was causing desRow to play so scared as well with those continual Ling run-bys over the top left-hand corner by desRow's third. desRow wasn't able to move his units out of position. He couldn't warp in enough units to go ahead and defend those Zerglings, as EG.IdrA was just sending too many each time, just the perfect amount. So very, very smart game played out of EG.IdrA. Beautiful map control the entire time as well. And that sets up our finals. We are going to have TSL Heart versus Evil Geniuses EG.IdrA. Now, right before we do so, I guess I'm going to give you an opportunity, Orb, to let people know where they can find your stuff outside of the TL Opens, as you are an active streamer and becoming quite the caster.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. I have been streaming as much as possible, casting as much as possible recently. If you do like my casting, and I hope you do, please follow me on Twitter at ORBTL, OrbTL, just Orb, and the TL is for Team Liquid, as I do love this community and really associate myself with it. So please follow me on there, and I will update you on any events I'm casting. Of course, my stream is located at twitch.tv/OrbTL as well. But just keep an eye out for the Korean weeklies on our new host, Esports Vision, because we got some awesome Korean players over there doing some really high-level stuff.
Absolutely, and we want to give a big shout out to TeamSpeak for sponsoring this tournament as well. Of course, the winners will receive $200, and also they're getting points towards a larger invitational that is going to come in the future, and we are going to have those final replays here very soon. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed my casting as well. It's been a pleasure casting for you guys. If you want to find me on Twitter, find me at CatsPajamas SC2. That's CatsPajamas SC2, and I very much love and appreciate and cherish every follower I get. Also, more importantly, please do check out about the IPL. That is where I spend most of my time. It is my day job to broadcast StarCraft for them over at IGN.com here in sunny San Francisco. So find them at IGN.com/IPL. We have a $100,000 tournament coming up starting on October 6th. 4-day event. Already some very, very, very good players have been invited. IdrA, Rhett, Select, and Thorzane have accepted their invite so far. So thanks very much to everyone who has enjoyed this cast so far. We're going to move into the finals here in a bit. Looks like the replays were just sent across.
One more plug, of course, very important. Check out, if you are on Twitter, also follow Team Liquid Net. That is just Team Liquid's general Twitter, and they will tweet, of course, about any Team Liquid events going on, whether it's the TL Open, the TL Attack, any kind of news going on. So make sure you follow that. If you want to stay in the know on esports, you got to follow Team Liquid Net on Twitter.com. But I believe we're set and ready to jump into the finals, right? We are going to have Heart versus IdrA. I'm so excited to see this match, Cats Pajamas. IdrA's ZVT going to be pretty exciting to see versus the lone Korean left in this tournament.
Absolutely, and we don't have a mirror matchup throughout this entire semifinals and finals as well, which is making me very, very happy. So the lone Korean hope going against the one of the very strongest players from the West, and this promises to be a treat. So don't go anywhere, guys. We are going to run to a quick commercial break. When we get back, the finals are going to be started, so don't go anywhere.